Hello everyone, I'm Dina Fuselier-Rascon, and this is the ultimate showdown, rock, paper, or scissors, a 2,000-year case for paper as civilization's greatest tool. So for our introduction, paper is a deceptively simple champion. Rock, paper, scissors is a universal childhood game, and it seems simple. Rock crushes, scissors cut, and paper covers. But what if I told you this weren't just a simple childhood game, but a profound historical debate? Rock gave us our first tools, scissors gave us precision paper gave us something far more powerful, the ability to solidify, share, and document the human mind itself. Today, we're giving the humble sheet its moment in the spotlight, and by the end, you'll see why this invention is without question the most revolutionary tool in human civilization. So our journey begins in the Eastern Chinese Han Dynasty in a town called Liyang, China, where an individual by the name of Kai Lun is credited with the first paper-making process. So prior to paper, knowledge was trapped in stone, fragile papyrus, or expensive parchment. A single sheet of paper required a flock of sheep to make. But in 105's Common Era, Kai Lun, an official in Chinese Han's dynasty, standardized the paper-making process using tree bark, hemp, and rags. It was revolutionary because the paper was cheap, it was light and flexible so it could be easily transported, it was scalable, it could be produced in large quantities, and the spread of this paper will first make its way via the Silk Road to Iraq in the 8th century, and then it'll move to Europe by the 12th century, setting the stage for global revolution. Our journey then moves to a small town in western Germany called Mainz, where an individual by the name of Johann Gunsberg is credited with the printer press. So, a hunger for accessible and widespread reading material plagued growing Europe, and hand copying was ridiculously slow. It took a monk 3 years to hand copy a Bible. Johannes Gutenberg of Mainz combined a movable printing press, oil-based ink, and paper in 1440. The explosive impact of his invention, first it begins with the Gutenberg's 42-line Bible from 1455, where 180 copies were made, and it proved that mass production was in fact possible. And by 1500, printing presses in Europe had produced around 20 million books, which prior to that, handwritten novels were not even close to this number. Our journey then travels to partially stays in Germany with an individual by the name of Martin Luther, and then it travels to England with Sir Isaac Newton, and then we travel to New York with Sir Thomas Paine. These are just few of the individuals who exemplify the effects of the printing press and paper, of course. So Martin Luther shook the world of faith with his 95 Theses, which were designed to criticize the practices of the Catholic Church. In 1517, he sparked the Protestant Reformation. So the spread of his work on paper allowed individuals to read religious debates themselves and inform themselves rather than through word of mouth, which was inefficient and inaccurate. As for modern science, Isaac Newton, who I'm sure you all know, published his Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, which was printed on paper, of course, and it allowed for these complex mathematical and scientific information to be studied, tested on, and observed by other scientists. And as for the political revolution, in terms of the American Revolution, Thomas Paine's Common Sense of 1776 spread revolutionary ideas on American independence for the colonialists, for the American colonists, and the Stamp Act of 1765 taxed paper, proving that the British Crown recognized the power that paper held over the people, hence why they ended up taxing it. Our journey actually continues in the same spots where a cartographer by the name of Martin Watzmuller was born in Germany, and Thomas Edison, of course, is from the United States. And we're going to be highlighting paper's effect on their discoveries and careers. So for cartography in the age of exploration, accurate paper maps like the Watzmuller map of 1507 made transatlantic navigation possible and reshaped the global worldview. And this is just an image of his map. And as for engineering and law, detailed blueprints allow for the construction of cathedrals, bridges, skyscrapers, etc., and paper contracts and constitutions like the Magna Carta on King John of England in 1215, or the U.S. Constitution of 1787, of course, formed the legal backbone of societies, and we can credit this all to paper. As for commerce and innovation, paper money, which was first widely used in China's Tang Dynasty, replaced the hassle of barter or trade, and patent drawings and applications like Thomas Edison's first patented drawing of the light bulb protected and sparked technological innovation by sharing ideas within a legal framework. So, paper is kind of what creates our. So now I'm going to address the digital argument, which states that in this technological age of today, isn't paper entirely obsolete to further our human civilization? And my answer is no, not at all. Because a printed book or document requires no electricity, software, or constant updates to keep up with the current tech. Even the state values paper's merit. Our own Library of Congress, for example, holds over 170 million items, the vast majority of which are paper books. So in the end, one must consider how so much of the information we consume online was once found on paper, and for that reason, we have to preserve the history of what was there. Ultimately, our journey would look like this because the spread of paper has been so ubiquitous. Paper is used everywhere today, and our map would just look crazy. To conclude, our journey ends here, but the evidence is overwhelming. Rock represents mass and force. Scissors represent precision and cutting, but paper represents the projection and transmission of human thought. It is the tool that allowed knowledge to escape the individual brain, travel across continents, and leap across centuries. It fueled the Renaissance, the scientific revolution, and the Enlightenment era. It enabled democracy, complex finance, and global exploration. It is the physical object of our collective memory and imagination, while digital tools are its powerful descendants. They stand on a foundation built entirely of paper. So finally, the next time you find yourself playing a game of rock, paper, scissors, throw paper, because you're not just playing a game, you're celebrating the architect of civilization. Thank you.